Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to wherever you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Faustina Anyanwu. I'm a Nigerian, an African, and I live in the UK. So I wanted to make this quick video to address some of the issues that are happening back home, happening with our leaders. If you're an African and at this point you're not outraged, I'm sorry, you might be one of the problems. Every African citizen anywhere in the world should be outraged at this moment. I'm really angry, but I'm trying my best to hold myself together so that I can address this issue clearly. Now, since yesterday, the Chinese authority, you know, drove out Africans from their residence, from their homes, from whatever hotel, shelter, wherever they are. They've all been chased out and made to leave. In fact, they're all stranded. Everybody can see the videos and people from different nations complaining, and they are all of African, citizens. Now, we all have, each of the African countries have leaders. We have leaders, and as citizens, we are we expect our leaders to be responsible for us because they are our parents. As far as that country is concerned, whoever is the leader of any country becomes the parent to to their citizens. But unfortunately, it looks like now, not just now, ever since, for the past 50 years, even after colonization, even after, everything that has happened, 50 years, more than 50 years after colonization, still Africans do not have any parents. We look like people with no parents. African citizens are dying, are treated, are hunted everywhere in the world. And our leaders keep, they don't even say anything. They don't stand up for us. It's becoming so worrying. An African anywhere is just like somebody who has no parents, who have no, like we don't have home. We have nowhere to go. I used to be, I used to get involved in talking about racism, talking about how black people are treated and all of that. But now I have decided to change my, to shift my focus, because I finally found out that the problem isn't the other people's attitude. Rather, it is the attitude of our own parents, our own leaders. Whenever I say parents, I mean the leaders of our country who are parents to us. Everywhere you look in the world, you see that Africans are crying, Africans are suffering, Africans are always at the bottom of the ladder. Yes, you might say, oh, you're doing well, you're this, but as an African, collectively, this is not a question of one person doing well, two people doing well, being in a good position. As long as you're an African, we are all in the same boat. So time has come for us all to begin to call our leaders out and ask them, do you actually know your responsibility? What is your diplomatic responsibility? Do you know your diplomatic duties to your citizens? Now, in China, Africans have been, driven out from their residence, made to be, some of them are homeless now, some of them are confused, they don't know what to do. Yet this Chinese country, they have embassies in all African nations. What are we doing? What are our leaders doing? Has any of our leaders summoned any of their ambassadors, any of the Chinese ambassadors? Has there been any statement from any country? Has there been any official statement from any country? Why do we continue to take rubbish and nonsense from everyone and every corner? As I'm speaking now, Nigeria has opened its arms, welcoming Chinese doctors. For what, I ask? Nigeria has one of the best brands, in the world. When it comes to medicine, we have doctors, we have nurses. We export doctors, physiotherapists, nurses, name it. Go to America, you see Nigerian doctors and nurses. Come to the UK here, you see Nigerian doctors and nurses. Now, throughout this pandemic, I've been watching, I've been trying my best, trying to educate, trying to, push our image to show that, see, we are humans like anybody else. We can have some dignity, we can have some image of respect. But it's no longer enough to push image of our people. We need to now call our leaders to call their attention and ask them, you guys travel all the time to other countries. You guys see how humans are treated. At what point are we as Africans going to say enough is enough? When are we going to say enough is enough? When are we going to stand up for ourselves? When are our leaders going to actually begin to lead, going to actually begin to stick for their own children, their citizens everywhere in the world? When will our leaders hear or see something, hear the children crying or being made to suffer, and they actually stand up and say enough is enough and have a word with that country? And say, treat our citizens with dignity and respect. At what point will that happen? When? Just recently, we all heard French doctors discussing on their national television with all audacity that they're suggesting they will come and test vaccine with Africans. And up till now, none of African leaders has said a word. Ordinary citizens, doctors from another country are bold to come out and on their national television and suggest that African citizens will be used to test their vaccine. And everybody's quiet. Our leaders are quiet. Is it because they are cowards? Is it because they are dumb? Is it because they don't have feeling? Is it because that is what they also think of their citizens? What is it? Honestly, we Africans, and I'm calling not just Africans, I'm calling any black person anywhere in the world. Let me tell you, until we build Africa and make African leaders to see the importance of protecting the dignity of their citizens, every black person everywhere will still be in this position. Racism is not going anywhere until we build Africa, until we hold our leaders to account and make them see what they are not doing and do it. Until they begin to see what they're supposed to do, what their responsibilities are, until they know that we have had enough. Until they know that until we are angry enough to make them know that we cannot tolerate this anymore. As long as we continue to be, everybody's chasing for their own pocket, you think you're comfortable until it gets to your own door. Well, as Africans, as black people, anywhere you are, we are going to continue to be haunted. Our leaders, this enough has to be enough. We cannot go through slavery and didn't learn anything. We cannot go through colonization and we cannot learn anything. And we are trying to allow this to repeat again. Look at, throughout this pandemic, all the African nations, there is no hospital. No hospital. I'm not even talking of any sophistication. Just where is the hospital? No hospitals. We have doctors, we have nurses, we have medical and healthcare professionals ready to work. But they have nothing to work with, nothing. Even in this part of the world, they're talking about personal protective equipment and stuff. We don't even have hospital bed where to put patients. No, even the least amenities. We don't have no water, no electricity. Yet our leaders, the first thing they did was, because every other person is locking down, they locked down. no preparation, no education, no communication with their citizens, no preparation, nothing. When are we going to prove to ourselves that we are humans, that we have brain, that we actually think? Do you leaders even know that your citizens are your children? Your responsibility. It is your responsibility to guide and protect your citizens. Everywhere in the world, it is your responsibility as a leader of a country to guide and protect your citizens. If you don't know what your duty is, then please, can you resign? Whichever country you are, from Ghana to Nigeria to South Africa to North Africa to wherever. Please, if you people don't want to protect your citizens, then you all should just get off there and allow people who know what to do to get on there. Enough of this. Enough of this. Our children are dying everywhere. Dying in the seas, dying in the oceans, dying in the deserts. Our children are refugees everywhere. Look at in the US, predominantly black people are dying. Come to the UK, predominantly black people are dying, because this is where these two countries are the two nations where Africans migrate the most. And most of our citizens, most of these people are people who came into these countries with completely nothing. And they are meant to compete starting from scratch, from no support, nothing. No options. Most of these people walk into their debt because they have no option. Even when they can see that, they keep going. They keep going into it because they know we don't have any leaders. We don't have home. Because we have useless leaders who continue to loot and loot and loot and loot. When is enough going to be enough? When is enough going to be enough? Please pass on this video. Let it reach to all these our leaders, whichever country you are from Africa. Let us stand up for ourselves. Thank you.